Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here, as always, I am your meteorologist for the evening, Cloud Hudson. I feel like my hair looks a little weird, so I'm going to put a hat on. It's better. It's better. Now I can have this cute little cowlick stick out and it'll look purposeful. Okay. Hi, welcome back. We've got another episode full of weather stories for you today. Obviously, there was weather all over the planet all day today, and there's lots of alarm bells going off. We are streaming live from in a place where there's some active severe weather going on. But we look at all the types of weather here on this channel, and I like to start with the volcanoes. So let's go ahead and I'll pull up that. And put that in the number one spot. Okay. I do have a map of the current severe weather outbreak going on in the background, so you will be able to see that. Zoom in on the place where we've got 3, 4, 5 active tornado warnings. Yeah, 5 active tornado warnings in 2 states, in Oklahoma and Missouri. So we've got 1 up here near Kansas City, 2 near Joplin, and 2 between Oklahoma City and Tulsa. Look down in the right-hand corner of your screen and you'll see where I'm talking about. That's we've got our background going on. But here in the main page, we've got our volcano news. Ubinas, Peru, explosive activity continues. Continuous ash emissions from 20,000 feet. We've got Sabancaya in Peru continuing its intermittent ash emissions. Reventador also, as well as Fuego and Santiaguito and Popo, all of our Central and Southern American volcanoes. Well, Central Mexico is in North America technically, but it is close to Central America. We've got Kilauea in Hawaii dwindling its activity after we had that pretty decent increase in activity weekly this week, or daily this week. Our daily activity increased. Lewotolo still putting off enough ash to warrant an advisory. Same with Lewitobi. And Ibeco and Paramashir. Oh, this is Lewitobi. Mount Ibu continues some volcanic ash emissions, and Mount Ibeco here in Paramashir Island is possibly erupting, observed. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, and yesterday we went over all of this yesterday. So a little bit quieter on our volcanic front, although I will say we still have 33 actively erupting volcanoes, which isn't nothing. But I keep hearing these beeps go off in the background. So let's quickly pivot to our atmosphere real quick. We've got 6 tornado warnings active right now. So let's see. First, we've got this Chandler, Stroud, Bristow, kink in the line type tornado. This was a cell that was it was a little bit more by itself and then has merged with this giant line. I'm going to go ahead and put us on single site radar so that we get, okay, there we go. And this will show storm tracks too. Gosh, we just keep getting alert after alert in the background there. This notch, do you see this notch in the line? Starts over here near Kearney. Got a rear flank downdraft right there. Got an outflow boundary, I mean. And we still have an inflow notch. This inflow notch is where it's producing that rotation. Let's see this on velocity. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You can see that going in. That inflow and outflow, that real couplet there. Let's see if there is a debris signature on here by checking our correlation coefficient. See if there's a drop in correlation. Not exactly. Not exactly yet. I mean, back behind it, kind of. But it doesn't look like we're seeing that signature yet. However, let's go back to looking at our next area here on the Kansas-Missouri border. We've got tornado warnings, 3, 1, 2, 3 tornado warnings. Let's see how these are unfolding. This is near Carthage, Missouri. Let's see what they're looking for on this one, because I don't really see where the center of the circulation would be. See different. Might want to get a different view of this. It's just not a good view either, any direction. Okay, that's a good direction, actually. Coming from Topeka I can see this better. Okay, it was coming from Girard. There we go. Let's look at this on. This has probably got a better look at it. Yeah, this near Joplin area is not easy to read. Oh, there we go. That's a little clearer. That's a little more clear. Yeah, I see that. Okay, and then we've also got up here. These are all looking like kinks in the line type. Like a hose, a garden hose with a kink in it. Or where these waves in the boundaries kind of overlap on themselves. Do you see how this isn't a straight line? It's kind of a wavy line. And as the line propagates, the waves also propagate down the line boundary. The waves are waving. That is, here, I'll pause it. This pattern is what we're seeing. And you see this propagate down the line that way as it's coming through. Watch. You see this wave propagating through the boundary. That's where they can kink up and get gnarly. Let's see. Let's check back in on our Oklahoma warned storm. That one's still got the deepest notch in it. That looks really clear. And this is the area where we had the most, the strongest tornado indication index. Yeah, you can see it getting all the way up into here. Getting all the way in there. Man. That's no good. One. Yeah, specific differential. Man, okay. This is looking nasty as it was forecast to. So, this is a show, not just me looking at radar time. So, I've been looking at radar all night. Let's go ahead and check out our tornado reports. Oh, I guess I skipped over earthquakes. Let's check out our earthquakes, and then we can continue talking about the atmosphere. Did I switch to that one? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Okay. Let's go to just the past 24 hours. Past day. Starting in Central America, we've got a 3.4, 3.6, and 4.1 down here. Oh wait, that's all? No, just this much. Just this much. Thank you. Okay. 3.9 and 3.3 and a 2.1 out here in Puerto Rico. We've got 4.1 at 111 kilometers depth down here off the coast of Mexico. Yeah, a lot of these south central Mexico areas, we are getting some bigger earthquakes. We're also getting some bigger quakes into Oklahoma and southeastern Gulf Shores area, Texas. Well, like not Gulf Shores, the place, but the Gulf Coast of Texas. Over in Western Texas, we've also got our classical drill point related earthquakes. That's just a natural consequence of the type of oil extraction going on out there. As is going on throughout much of the West, the states out west, even and especially including California, but all over the Rockies, there are lots of oil and gas drill points that are natural places that the earthquake energy can attenuate. It's like how when the pressure changes and you can feel it in your bad knee, when the pressure changes for the tectonic plates, the plates feel it in their bad knee, aka their fissures or cracks in the bedrock first. So anything that's penetrating the bedrock, like a mine or a drill or a geothermal well or a natural gas pumping operation or a rock fracturing operation, a rock fracture, that will feel the changing pressure before the rest of the craton, just like how your bad knee feels the changing atmospheric pressure before the rest of your body. So it actually might be kind of a good thing that there are so many drilling operations out here, because that means there are many, many points for the energy to pick from. We're not getting hit in one big brittle, or it's so brittle that it's dissipating the energy coming towards it very well, instead of getting hit with big one after the other, like big honking in one area, all of this energy in one area type of earthquakes. Alaska is still hanging in there with its good ones and not even any twos range today. And we can see that Hawaii is significantly slowing down in its earthquakes, even though it's not very slow. It is slowing down comparatively. Taking a look at it from the side, it looks like some of these quakes were relatively deep. Nah, they look mostly shallow. These are looking 4 to 6 to 10 kilometers depth, some at 0. That's it for the Americas. Let's go over to the Western Pacific. We've got got to get this to the right date. I know this is, there we go. Okay. Again, we've got more and more quakes going into the main island of Australia and not just around the plate boundary, which is really interesting. It's kind of like seeing those quakes in America that are just like seemingly in the middle of a plate and not at the boundary, but it's possible to get earthquake swarms not at the boundaries. Speaking of swarms at the boundaries, though, here in New Zealand, we've been getting hit with a lot of tremors and tremors to 2 range, but we do have a 3.4 nestled in there. That was at 164 kilometers depth. So that is that larger, deeper looking one. The rest of these are kind of shallower and afterward, but perhaps a deep 3.4 and some aftershocks going on there. We've got a 4.1 in Tonga and Fiji here. Oh gosh, this just kicked me out of my date again. Hello. There we go. 600 kilometers depth. Yeah, I was going to say that looks very deep. 600 kilometers deep earthquake at the Fiji island chain. And that's right in the middle of our, is this Andaman Islands? Which islands is this chain? Well, they're just calling it northeast of New Zealand, but also a 4.9 at 91 kilometers depth here as we get into Papua New Guinea, which the main island had a 4.5 at 57 kilometers depth. There was also a 4.8 at 152 kilometers depth as we move from Papua New Guinea into the Banda Sea. And in the Philippines area, we had a 4.5 at 10 kilometers depth, 4.6 at 89 kilometers depth over here in Indonesia. And then there were those 3 smaller 2.6, 2.8, 2.2s in Australia proper. Up here in Burma, we've got a 4.3 at 115 kilometers depth, so that's pretty cool. And then the next big thing we've got is this cluster of quakes going from Crete all the way up into Greece. So, I mean, Crete and Greece, you know. But like the Greece-Turkey border, all of this area I think this started as tremors off the coast of Crete, and it is rippled into Greece itself. So also many points of inflection, so it gets spread out better. So that is our little earthquake update for today. Not too much to speak of. Hardly anything over 4. A little quiet on the earthquake front, except for this notably deep 4.1. And honestly, look how evenly spaced, if I zoom out and you look at the time component of this and the spacing and magnitude of these, doesn't it look like very even? The 4.1 to the 4.8 to the, well, I guess, okay, first the oldest is this 4.9, then 4.8, then goes the 4.1, then the 4.5, then these other. Okay. So really, I think this was all similar. Oh, we also have a South Sandwich Islands earthquake here, a 4.9 at 10 kilometers depth. And let me turn off. Where's the opposite side of this? There we go. Opposite side of this is right in the middle of... Oh, the opposite side of the world is where we had this... where's the opposite from South Sandwich Islands? That would be right in the Kuril Islands in Ibeco. Where's the opposite side from this 4.1? The antipode of the 4.1 is going to be in East Africa. So, that should be... I wonder if this will have anything to do with or West Africa. I'm sorry, not Eastern Africa, West Africa. I wonder if that'll have anything to do with it. We'll see. Maybe something out here on the Ascension Islands. I don't know. Okay. But really, when we take out the lower magnitude quakes, there were not that many to speak of today. So let's go back to everyone's favorite, our atmosphere. We're going to go back to looking at radar Omega. I'm going to just do a... Man, we're up to 37 alerts. We are at 9 tornado warnings right now. 2 of those are observed. That would be the one near Lawrence, Missouri, and the one near Jasper, Dade, and Barton, Missouri. So let's take a look at this. This is the one, this Jasper, Carthage. This is observed on the ground. Damaging tornado was located near Jasper or 10 miles northeast of Carthage, moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. This is... I guess this is here, right there. There's also radar indicated tornadoes back there, and this is warned for this observed tornado as well. So let's take a look at what that... I just got us off of this, but let's go back to single site radar. Let's look at this in velocity. This is it. That is it. That's that one. Let's see if high-res velocity looks any better. Okay, yeah. Hold on. I'm going to click through these. As we go back a few clicks, this is what was coming through Joplin just a few minutes ago when I started this update. This little area of circulation, this little notch of... you can see it's green to blue because... yeah, it's since they're both coming towards... both directions of rotation are coming towards the radar. You have to go with coming towards faster and coming towards slower. So that's where the green to blue would be your velocity couplet rather than a green to red when you have this color grading on. So you can see it start here and it moves through Brooklyn Heights and right through the middle of Carthage and Carytown. And kind of hooks up northward more. This is the one that has been observed on the ground. Let's see if there is a debris signature with this at all. Looks like it. Looks like there is a small drop in correlation coefficient here. So let's see as we click backwards. It does kind of start around Joplin. I mean, this looks like it's already a debris ball there. That might be. It's that blob. Yeah. There is a slight debris ball on that one. It looks like to me, in my opinion. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, that is got plenty of area for inflow. Definitely got some wind behind it. This is also at a bowing segment in the front of storms here. This also down near Bella Vista, I think that looks bad. I usually look for rotation happening at the inflection points in lines. As you know, I like to talk about that with the earthquake updates. I like to talk about the inflection points. But I really do think that the bending areas are where there is a lot of activity, a lot of opportunity for formation. Now, some of these, like these two lines that are coming together right over Grove right here, those are, I would say, twisting into each other like this. They are zippering into each other's rotation. They are rotating opposite ways with respect to their direction of propagation. One of them is spinning left-handed and one is spinning right-handed, but they're spinning into each other. And I'm talking about spinning in not the vertical plane, but in the parallel to the ground XY plane, not in the Z axis. They're spinning in the like that direction. Do you see the rotating Cheeto? The Cheetos that look like spirals locking into each other, springs rotating and locking into each other. That's what's happening up here, and I would expect some development from that. But right up ahead of that, where we're getting the fastest bowing out segment, really this is, like the fastest propagating segment that hasn't gotten in this interaction region yet. That is where we're getting all this tornado warning. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 active tornado warnings. So that is a lot for just one little area. We've also got up here near Creighton, Garden City, and Blairstown a radar indicated tornado warning that might be allowed to expire soon. There's one right above it in Warrensburg. These are all kink in the line type radar indicated tornadoes. There's just really this whole line. It could be breaking out in tornadoes the whole way along it. Let's see. Yeah, watch this sweeping line segment. Each of these little, do you see in especially the last few frames, you can see that red and green waving. You really see the roll. It's like the wave-like nature of the cloud itself. It really is like watching ocean waves crash, where you can see the areas of how it acts like turbulent flow and how it acts like viscosity differences in bulk waters. It's pretty easy to see that this is going to fray out into multiple little vortices all over the place. And that's really what tornadoes are, is this micro vortices that get, well, I guess they're macro vortices, but they're vortices or vortexes. Vortices is how you say vortex in plural. There are these little whirls, little spinny guys, and that usually stay spinning in the plane parallel to the Earth, but sometimes they become spinning in the plane perpendicular to Earth. Like as we're looking from above, we see the wave crashing. When we see the wave propagating, crashing through like a flag waving in the breeze here, do you see the gray line between the directions, like a flag waving in the wind as this moves through? That is propagation in the parallel to the ground orientation. But when those spins find themselves in a spot with respect to the inflowing and outflowing winds that sustain its vertical rotation, it can come down. I don't know if I'm making that very clear or not, but let's see. Looks like our next place we're looking at a tornado is here in Oklahoma City, just near Choctaw, right outside of Choctaw, right outside of Oklahoma City. We've got this pretty strong wind gust coming out. You can see this C shape bowing out here. That is a big wind gust. That's a big wind gust right there coming down out of Chandler. Let's see. Is that one going backwards? See, that is... As we roll through, this is a big gust of wind rolling through Oklahoma City right now. Damn. I don't know why I'm looking at the Norman one, but I thought it would show me something I can't really see on this one. Don't see what that's seeing very well. All right, let's go back to taking a look at all of our radar. We've got 33 active alerts, 6 tornado warnings. One of them was observed on the ground. Let's see. Got several counties without power or with power losses, really all up and down the backside of the storm. So wherever it is rolled through, it has definitely done some damaging winds in the more rural counties, knocking out over half the power. Let's see. That's our... Looking here just to the east of Kansas City, we've got 3 different tornado warnings active and many tornado watches. As this flows through, I can't say that I see where the kinks in the line would be that are forming these tornadoes, but I think I kind of get it. Let's see. We've got many special weather statements coming out. We've got a flash flood warning. We've got many flash flood warnings here from Oklahoma City to Tulsa. We've also got a special weather statement out that has warning up to 50-mile-per-hour winds, and that is after another previous week of extreme rainfall in this area. So we are looking at the more rain that entrains itself here, the more rain will come down, and also the harder it's going to be for trees to make it. Okay, we've got another tornado warning issued for this cell that is coming out of Choctaw, Oklahoma. That would be this little swirling bitty right here, headed straight for the Kickapoo Nation. Let's see if I've got a local radar site that I won't dislike about this. Let's see, that might get maybe a better view because it's farther away. Not really, it's right on the other side of a storm. Yeah, this is still the best resolution here. Okay, this outflow boundary really stirring up. Do you see this gust? Like kind of acting like a skateboard ramp for these storms to jump up and over. Do you see it almost hop up a level? Going whoop. Yeah, that is the lift that you need to start off a chain of events that is a lowering of a cloud in the middle of the night, in the middle of a very populated thoroughfare. Not great. Not great. You don't love to see that. Because that is what you'll end up with, is this coming this way, this coming this way. We are setting up a very nice couplet, a convergent zone right here over Hera, Kickapoo Nation, Meeker, McLeod, Nuwala, on the way to Chandler. So really just south of 44 coming out of Oklahoma City towards Tulsa. There is a tornado forming itself right now. I believe this isn't warned for on the ground yet. No, the only observed one we've got is in Lawrence, Missouri. And let's go back to that one. Oh, wow. Okay, so here near Newport and Gold City, we've got this notch forming. Really bad situation there. We've also got, as we scoot on up the line, this folding in of many air masses together, creating very many tornadic velocity couplet signatures. See that right there. Not looking good. Not looking good. We also have a new tornado warning for Okmulgee. Let's go back here. Yeah, this is warned as a tornado there. Let's see. Knew this was going to be a busy night, but I didn't know how busy. That is popping up right there. Do you see it rotate in to view? And again, this is probably going to be in Haskell by 1:50 a.m. It is 1:10 right now. Let's see. I think the other two, no, they were not allowed to expire. Yeah, this looking not great. Not great looking with every newer scan. Getting worse and worse, honestly. Probably a rain wrapped. Not great. Let's check back in with Springfield, Missouri. Looking gross. Oh, wow. This last radar, God, look at that. That looks very clear. That is so clear. Oh my God. Okay. Is this the observed one? No, this isn't even the observed one. This is a radar indicated tornado, looking more and more likely with each step of the radar. Before we get into Golden City, when it started over near Jasper, it was pretty sharp looking, but we just keep defining into that S shape as we get towards Greenfield. This is going to be headed towards Boulevard. Humansville, that's a suspicious name. That's a weirdly suspicious name. We're headed straight for Humansville with this storm. Totally not a concerning thing to say. Next stop, Humansville, USA. Well, there's a tornado coming for Humansville, USA. Humansville, Missouri, we are looking for heading to shelter right now, because that's quite the inflection point. That is quite the wave coherence that you don't want to see. Let's look up here. Okay, now these are more apparent as well. These stark contrasts in velocity up here, getting a little more clear. What we were warned about in Clinton and Warrensburg and Holden. That looks like a nice little S shape couplet. Concordia also, probably from a different angle you would see it better, but I'm starting to see that hook in there on the velocity. Let's look at reflectivity. Yeah, it's cycling in, I think. Cycling in there. Wow. Okay. Let's go to check out some of our global weather first before we move on, because we do need to move on, but I need to talk about global weather. Well, okay, so let me also, while we're here, there have been 16 tornadoes reported over the past 48 hours, and they are shown here as compiled by Michigan, University of Michigan Climate and Space Sciences Department. And they've got sources and times and dates. And these are ranging from 15 of them from Monday at 12 p.m. First one was up in Nebraska and next to in South Dakota. The next one was in Tennessee. We did see a tornado sighted in Tennessee near Smithville, Tennessee. That is kind of like halfway between, well, it's near Sparta and Murfreesboro, and just kind of in the middle of Middle Tennessee and Eastern Tennessee. Interesting to see one that far east. We also saw some up in South Dakota, and then the later in the evening and day ones have been here in Oklahoma and Missouri. They'll probably get Missouri on the board in a second. Let's check out our I want to see our observed precip. Not too bad for Texas for the past 24 hours. Past 72 hours hurts a little bit still, but we're kind of shifting some of that moisture into the mid-Atlantic and deep south region. So hopefully we can get some of this entrainment out of the central United States, but I don't think that's going to happen. We are in flood watches, flood warnings in all the places that you see the bright green, flood watches in all the places you see the dark green, and overlapping severe thunderstorm, tornado warnings, tornado watches, and tornado warnings in all of these areas. That doesn't mean that we're out of the woods for fire weather, though, because there are still high red flag warnings, which is a high risk of wildfires out here in most of New Mexico, parts of Arizona, even Kansas that's getting the severe weather, and Colorado. And we've also got high wind advisories and winter storm watches and warnings even up in Montana. So we are still not out of springtime yet if we are still seeing both flood warnings and high wind and winter storm advisories and watches. Now, let's see. I want to go to our GOES satellite imagery so that we can see. This is where in the late afternoon we saw some of this energy come due eastwards and form this little Carolinas, Virginia, Tennessee, the mid-south storm region. And we've got some convection up here into Kentucky, West Virginia, the Ohio River Valley region. And you can kind of see where that jet streak puffed along. You can see where the red tails were. You can see it puffing along at the higher altitudes, really stirring up some convection. But the real juice was back here because this is where we had so much diffluence aloft, so much upper level divergence that this could just continue to sustain really high lift rates. There was always more suck coming from the top. That's what the divergence aloft is. And there was also a really strong inflow of tropical and Gulf of Mexico moisture and heat straight into this area, aligned with the jet streak, the peak in the jet streak. So there was like a little, this is the tilt of the trough, and this is where the jet streak was. The jet streak is really this line where you're seeing this curve of line, and where the feeding moisture met the jet streak and divergence aloft, we got all this big convection. This was like, it wasn't like the perfect storm because that actually is describing a different type of storm system. But the movie, that's not what you would call this. But this is a great, a really perfect lineup of ingredients to have a classic Oklahoma outbreak. But this is just unfortunately following the 2024 trend of being a nocturnal tornado outbreak, which is really unfortunate since folks here in this region are more used to climatologically. Tornadoes would be like a late afternoon, evening thing instead of like a nighttime thing. Typically, the deep south sees more nocturnal tornadoes, but unfortunately, the nocturnal tornadoes have shifted to the Midwest right now, and folks who think that they will be aware of it, may get caught off guard because of that. But really, just look at the splaying out of the wind up here, this upper level wind, and the dragging in and kind of colliding of upper level wind racing off that convection and getting pushed more to the east and west component, running into the feeder lower level yellow and blue cyan barbs, the red being the upper level. You can see that you get a lot of that tilt, a lot of that vorticity, and the vertical veering being like the winds going a certain way with height, as opposed to backing being a different winds going a different way with height. But in this case, we have warm air advection, and the winds are going from this to this, like this to this. So, well, your video's flipped, but it's veering. The winds are veering as you move up, and that is also a really good way to start some convection. So, really, really good, favorable conditions for terrible weather. There's been quite a lot of electrical activity associated with the, I'm in the Southern Appalachian region, and I was in storms today that were tornado warned, or were tornado warned at a time in their life cycle. And this was an extremely active electrical storm. This was there was a lot of lightning, a lot of thunder in the places where there was convection. And they were kind of based on local microclimates that, depending on this like very west to east, there wasn't much veering or backing over here. This was just pretty much like straight line winds coming out of chaos. But there was enough rain and moisture in the area from yesterday that and there was very little in the way of the rising motion. So all the convection that wanted to happen here could happen here. All the greenhouse gas type of stuff, not greenhouse gas, but the greenhouse effect of mid-Atlantic, mid-tropical, mid-latitude rainforests can produce their own rain like that. Anyway, let's go on to talk about our Schumann resonances for today, because I have already been on the air for an hour and I need to go to bed. Okay. We had a good amount of power come into the atmosphere yesterday, and we have not really slowed down today. Really peaking out. We got a big burst at about 11 p.m. or a.m. UTC time today. Let's see if we can see that in the amplitudes. Yeah, we see that all around 11. But really, yesterday, the 6th, throughout the 6th, we got another good big daily burst of energy that started in the higher levels and moved into the lower levels. Now, I want to I didn't realize how late it was, so I want to kind of rush through this. Let's see. We have a high solar wind speed currently. And I bet density has also, density has kind of gone into the higher ranges as well. Interplanetary magnetic field is just medium, but at least we're not missing much because the interplanetary magnetic field orientation is in the northward component. The solar wind is pretty fast, so I mean, I would expect that means possibly more precipitation of cosmic ions, cosmic radiation into the Earth's radiation belts if the solar wind is really high, but the dense magma isn't like smacking it around. Perhaps that'll charge up the radiation belts. 3 CMEs, none with a good chance of being total halos. Let's check our solar flares out today, because remember yesterday we had, holy crap, y'all, again. This is the combination of the amount of power we had. Remember yesterday we had M 1.32, M like 1.29. The combination of them happened today. We had an M 4.5. Wow, you guys. That was at 6:30 UTC on Monday, May 6th. So that was probably around midnight Eastern last night during my show. So that's pretty cool. Because yeah, it is. What time is it now? It's like 5:10 UTC on the next day. So it says 1:20 here. So 6:30 would have been around. Wow. So this was right. Okay. So like right after the show last night, I went live on Twitch and did a live coloring stream. So technically, I believe this coloring that I did yesterday was made during the X 4.4 radiation burst. So yeah, if you would like to get a copy of a drawing made during X 4.4, then join my Patreon, because I've got a tier where you can join my coloring book club, and I make these coloring book pages for us. Wow, that's really exciting. 4.4, 4.52. Holy crap. That's a lot. I wonder what we'll see tonight. It looks like we did wane down just a little bit. But if all of these peaks align again, we'll get up to here. So, and this was from region 3663. Very impressive beta, gamma, delta region. You're seeing slideshow of it here on the 5th and the 6th. Looking pretty nasty, pretty impressive. Let's see. If this is gonna let me see this one. Yeah, this is what I want to see out of this. This is what it's looking like. So these are the two regions that are moving away from each other. These are two that are antipolar, like oppositely polarized, but not the main pair away from each other. And here's a delta region, I believe. So that's really exciting. There was a 45% chance of X flares from this one. I believe NASA rarely issues X-class flare probabilities so high, but we were at like a 50% probability earlier today. And then regions 3664 just keeps getting weirder and weirder, looking like, I don't know, a ringworm, but in the shape of a figure 8 or a infinity sign. These are really wild looking. Let's take a look at them in motion on the sun's surface. Yeah, you can see this spreading and growing right there. This one too gets weirder and weirder. Also got a spreading and growing region. So pick either 6.3 or 6.4 to look at all the way across. This is the one this 6.3 is the one that's been giving us all these X flares. And how could it not, when it's got so many big charged areas moving in such geometry to each other? This one looks like a baby unfurling in the womb. Do you see the blue? Just like a little bean developing into a big bean with limbs and stuff. And then there's the convection right behind it. I have a feeling 3664 is going to be our next 3663. Let's take a look at the impressive flares. Impressive flares from this region. Just bam, 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 bam. Huge. There you go. I'm rewinding. That is our X 4.4. Wow. That's how we started off today. And look, as we get to the last few frames, we've got something a brewing. Looks like more arches are trying to blow some steam off before we get off this side of the sun. So let's see. God, so beautiful. It's really cool to see so much like lightning on the surface of the sun and on the surface of the earth at the same time. Yeah, and this was a good that's a good reminder that strong X-class flares don't always mean strong coronal mass ejections. Sometimes it's the opposite, because our CMEs have been pretty minimal. I think that's where I want to leave this. Let's go to our planetary weather. Okay. Planetary weather for today. Oh, that is my birth chart, not the planetary weather. Oh no, that's a different birth chart. No, that is today's. Oh, I saw that Scorpio was on the rising, and I assumed it was my birth chart. This is not my birth chart. This is the current chart. Scorpio is currently ascending Scorpio. Pluto is about to ascend from the underworld into the sky to be the only planet in the sky right now, because we are in the new moon phase of the moon cycle, and that means that we've got the moon nearing its maximum degree of exaltation in Taurus at 4 degrees. I believe the maximum degree of exaltation is at 5 degrees, and we've got a 5-planet stellium in Taurus. Again, this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 5th season in a row that we've had a stellium in the sign where the sun is. We had Cap stellium in Cap season, Aquarius in Aquarius season, Pisces stellium in Pisces season, an Aries stellium in an Aries season, and now we are in the peak of the Taurus stellium in a Taurus season with this current Taurus new moon. So get into your Taurian nature right now. Get into the Venusian, into the lunar, into the physical, and see what that means for your ego, sense of change, and Jupiter energy of expansion, growth, luck, dreams, money, travel, etc. Sun is currently exactly sextile Saturn in Pisces at 17 degrees. And that is really a beautiful aspect. I think that Sun sextile Saturn, especially in these signs together of the Sun in Taurus sextile of Saturn in Pisces, could be a very healthy, growing, learning opportunity that breaks down previous walls and creates new materials to work with. The Sun is it's within 5 degrees of conjoining Venus in Taurus. The moon is about to join Venus in Taurus. Mars is in Aries and still happy in the sign that it rules. We just went through our exact transit of Chiron conjunct Mercury here in Aries. And the sun is now officially within 5 degrees of conjoining Uranus, which I think is going to be the like capstone, the key, the cherry on top of this Jupiter Uranus cycle in Taurus. I think that this moon transit, this new moon, is going to be a big one for all of the Taurus stories that have been playing out right now. Let's see. We are currently in a moon day. I believe we were in a Mars hour for the last hour and 5 minutes. So yeah, I started this in a moon day and a Mars hour, but we are in a moon day and a sun hour right now. So with that, let's go ahead and take a little taste of the cosmic weather. Yeah. Oh, and this is the coloring book page that I worked on last night, apparently at the exact same time of that solar flare. So if you want to get this as a part of a coloring book of the month club, please sign up for my Patreon. All right. And before we go, I am going to check our radar again because the alerts have been going off like crazy in the background. Okay, what is our message from the cosmos? What's the cosmic weather right now? I'll do this one. Ooh. The vibrations of my being influence the universe. Everything vibrates and is communicating, reacting, responding, and integrating with other vibrating things. Once you begin to offer your vibrations on purpose, now you are in absolute control of your experience. I offer my vibrations on purpose to observe the other vibrations. I am perceiving the vibrations. Let's see. Now for our the real. Have a radar in the corner. Because we do still have 9 active tornado warnings, as you can see. Gonna let that play out. Okay. What goes with the vibrations of my being influence the universe? And I like this card too. It's got a beautiful reflection of a moon in a pond and the ripples on the pond radiating, also kind of imitating the rings that come around the moon. And yeah, really, really nice card. I like that one a lot. What is the cosmic weather coming in with the vibrations of my being influence the universe? Okay. We got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So, Wheel of Fortune in reverse. This is the 10 card. It's the 1 and the nothing. It is the one that has, is it? Yeah, it's the one that has the, 4, the emblems of the 4 fixed signs up here in the corner. And it's also got a little fox or jackal or whatever you want to call it, as well as a snake on the Wheel of Fortune itself. Now, this is not just like the show Wheel of Fortune. This is the Wheel of Fortune larger, like the ancient lot. Let's see. I want to pull this up. Let's look at Wheel of Fortune reversed for a general meaning for everyone. Okay. Reversed, bad luck, resistance to change, breaking cycles. I do like breaking cycles. Oh yeah, this is also the card that has both Tarot, tarot, and the Hebrew letters for Yahweh on the wheel itself, as well as sign for waves. They've got a little sign for waves right there. We've got some other alchemical looking signs on it. Oh yeah, the snake, the Egyptian god Typhon, the god of evil, descending on the left side, and the snake representing the life force. The right side rises Anubis, the god of the dead, who welcomes souls into the underworld. And and on top of the wheel sits the Sphinx representing knowledge and strength. So in the reversal, the Sphinx representing knowledge and strength is on the bottom. The snake is Typhon rising up, and the psychopomp Anubis is descending. So we are digging into the new cycle of how evil's going to rise, but also that is when we hide our knowledge as well. Luck and fortune may take a turn for the worse. You may experience unexpected change, or negative forces could be at play, leaving you helpless. You could do nothing and hope things will get better, or you can act to improve your situation. See this moment as your opportunity to take control of your destiny rather than be pushed around by it. Changing your destiny starts with accepting responsibility for where you are now. Consider what role you have played in your present circumstances. Even when you think everything is beyond your control, there's often something you could have done differently that may have changed where you are now. What can you learn from the situation? On the positive side, may mean that you are finally breaking a negative cycle that has been present in your life. Perhaps you have realized how your actions have created a repetitive situation and are now ready to break free from the cycle. For some, this may flow naturally following a period of introspection and self-discovery. For others, things may need to hit rock bottom before you are ready to see what is no longer serving you. Yeah, I am feeling that interpretation of this, of breaking negative cycles. I think this is the wheels of the former machine breaking down. This is the cogs of the machines of oppression are wearing out. I think that something, especially with the new moon in Taurus and everything that's been going on with the Jupiter Uranus conjunction stories in Taurus, I think this is actually a really big change in the global power dynamic that's happening right now. That has to do with all the types of knowledge represented on this card. There's going to be a big upset in traditional knowledge spheres. And knowing like what we think we know about the way the circle of life and the cycles of life work. I think we're advancing to a new way that the cycles work, and folks who cling to the old ways that the cycles work will be left in that timeline where those cycles work, and those who want to be in the timeline where we use different machinery now are going to be able to use that different machinery as the upgrades become available. The machinery you have at your disposal is your body, not anybody else's body. But what can you do with your body for you to survive? That's the machinery you have available that is up for an upgrade. Okay. And what's our last card from the cosmic weather? Our last cosmic card pull, weather. Going with the vibrations of my being influence the universe and the wheel of fortune. I always think of wheels also as their own type of waveform, and therefore their own type of vibration, their own type of up and down cycle. So this is very, again, feeling like entrainment is the lesson of you do the changes in your life and you'll see it reflected outward. And there we have it. Break the cycle. This is the perfect card to go with these third ones. The third card to go with Wheel of Fortune reverse and the vibrations of my being influence the universe. You have all the power you need to be in the world where we're breaking the cycle. You have all the power you need to self-select to be on the timeline where that's happening. You may not have control over the world, but the world is a reflection of the vibration of the timeline that you're on. So if the world's going to shit, maybe you need to take better care of yourself. Not like blaming you, because I'm also obviously in the same timeline you are, so we've obviously been going through it. But this is really important for how we actually feel empowered, instead of disempowered when we see global things that seem to be out of our control, and then synchronicities that align when we align ourselves with our values. Let's see. Break the cycle. Says cycles work a bit like curses, especially ones that need to be broken. The primordial tadpole leaving the seas for land, somehow knowing that there is more beyond what has always been and making a move to find it, demonstrates that life is both cyclical and evolutionary at its core. Due to the ever-changing nature of it, it is inevitable that certain cycles will grow obsolete, unnecessary, or possibly harmful, in need of updates or replacements. What was I talking about? Updates. If left unchecked, a broken cycle can span generations, crippling those burdened by their dark inheritance. So this is talking about both breaking a cycle of having a broken cycle. A broken cycle meaning like a loop that doesn't feed you. they're using this, you can the cycle is evolution, but you only cycle upward in an evolutionary way if you continue to do something a little bit different with each iteration. And if you just redo what previous generations have done, you're not going to make progress in the evolution. And it is in your DNA. Everything is the spiral helix shape. This is a really important vibrational reading tonight, I think. It all goes as within, so without. And really physically healing yourself